What's going on, guys? My name is Kevin Griffith and this is the Holler Barbecue. So I've had my Grilla Grills Primate for a few weeks now. So it's time to show you how I like to do steaks on it. And today we're gonna be cooking up some picanha. So sit right there and let's get to cooking. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hey, so today I want to show you picanha on the griddle. Picanha is one of my favorite steaks. What it is it's a part of the sirloin, very popular in Brazil. Here in America, they're called culotte, and they're sometimes kind of hard to find. I got this one from a company called Wild Fork Foods. This will be my first time to try this one, so I'll let you know how that goes. And this is a good place to get it, if it is good, because it's easy to get from. So first of all, Wild Fork, what they are is they're an online grocery store. They have stores, I think, down in Texas, down in that area, but they're mail order. And what they have is a subscription service. I believe it's 29 bucks a year, then you get free shipping. If you ever bought meat or any type of food online, you know that shipping is really expensive. So it's a good deal. The only caveat is I'm too far away from them. So I'm in Oregon, and they do have a rule that if you don't fall within their 2-day ground shipping, then you can't really sign up to get it. So for me, the shipping was still, I think it's 35 bucks every time for an order, which still isn't too bad if you buy enough. So this is a prime picanha, you can see. And look at that price on it. $7.98 a pound, came to $23.62. Now the only place I found it up here to get, it wasn't even prime, and I still paid, I don't know, it was almost 15 bucks a pound for it. So if this is good, then this will probably be my go-to place to get picanha. They also, for all you guys that have a hard time finding tri-tip, they have tri-tip, they have brisket, which I think is about $3 or $3.50 a pound, which is good for a lot of people. I've seen brisket prices way high in some places, so you might want to check them out. I'll put the link down below. You know, this is not a sponsored video by them or anything like that. I just like to pass off knowledge once I have it. So traditionally, picanha is cooked on skewers, where it's cut, you know, this way, and it's kind of folded over on the skewer like almost looks like a C when it's done, and then cooked over fire, and then you just shave off the sides as you're eating it. Really good that way, but today I'm just gonna cook it as steak since we're gonna be doing it on the griddle. As you can see, picanha has a really big fat cap on it. We leave that on. I'm not really doing anything else to it besides we're just gonna cut it into steaks, and then we'll see what the marbling on this thing looks like. The underside looks good. I don't see much silver skin. So let's get this thing cut into steaks. All right, let's get this thing cut up. I want to see if I can show you. Yeah, you can see the grains run this way. And we're going to be cutting it with the grain right now. Let me show you. Let me cut one off real quick. Let me get you a good view here. You can see we cut it with the grain. Huge fat cap here. The reason we do this is because once we cook it and we cut it like we would a normal steak, then you're cutting against the grain. Makes a better bite. So actually I'm going to cut just a little bit of this fat cap off, because this is a huge one. All right, these look great. You see I have one little piece here from the end. I'm just gonna cook it the way it is. And for seasoning, when I do my steaks, I usually keep it really simple. I just use salt and pepper. And on my salt, I do a coarse kosher salt. I want to get the fat cap, I want to get everything. I decided to go ahead and cut this little one, just cut the tip off of it so I can cook this like a normal steak too, and I'll just cook that one as my little, I don't know, I wouldn't say waste piece, but the tip. All right, I put my seasoning on before I go outside to get the griddle going, just so they can be sitting while the griddle's getting going. It doesn't take that long, but it just helps to absorb some of that flavor in. All right, guys, so I got the Primate fired up to about a medium heat. Now this thing runs a lot hotter than my old Blackstone, so I have to tone it down just a little bit. And one difference for as far as cooking, this thing actually has a hood that you can actually close, and it's actually meant to cook with as a grill or a griddle. I actually leave it down when I'm heating it up because it gets the surface of this griddle hot really quick. Maybe 5-10 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes it's usually smoking hot just like this. Then another thing it allows me to do is I'm actually going to turn the right side burner completely off. And then if the steaks start looking too dark, then I'll just move it over there so it's not on a direct heat source anymore. We'll close the lid and continue to be able to cook the steak to the temperature we want to get. All right, so the first thing I do is I lay some butter down. I've had a video where I've cooked this way before, and I get comments saying that, oh, you're burning the butter. Well, burn or not, it makes the steaks taste really good, so this is the way I like to do it. Makes a really good flavor for a griddled steak. Then let's just get our steaks down. Our little baby one, put over here. And I'm gonna go ahead and close the grill. And we're gonna go for about 1.5 minutes. All right, guys, it's been about 1.5 minutes. Now, my goal is to get these steaks between about 120 to 125 is where I want to pull them at. All right, another 1.5 minutes. And now we've only been cooking for about 3 minutes, but I want to get a temp check real quick and see where we are. You can see some of them are going to be cooking faster than others. That's also, depending on how thick they are versus how hot the grill is. So we're averaging about 85 to 90 on all of them, except for this little one down here. This dude here is probably done. Yep, let me get him off. All right, about 1 more minute, and we're gonna start flipping every minute. So what I'm going to try to do now is crisp up some of this fat. Just kind of hold it up there for a minute. And then once I do this, I'm actually going to move them down to where I don't have the grill on at all. All right, so my smaller ones, I'm hitting about at 120 right now, so we're going to go ahead and pull those off. And the bigger one still needs to go just a minute. All right, guys, let me get these things inside. We're gonna let them rest up for about 5 minutes. Then we're gonna cut into them, see what we got, and give it a try. All right, guys, while these things are resting up, let's just go over real quick what we did, because it was pretty quick outside, and I just want to make sure we cover it for, you know, people who maybe never cooked it this way before, maybe never even cooked a steak before. I know a lot of you are professionals, so you don't have to pay attention here if you don't want to. But so first thing I did was laid down some butter. You know, that's just to get my initial sear. That was the only butter I added to it, because with these prime, there's so much fat in them, they start releasing so much oil and grease out of them, they just continue to sear themselves. We started off about 1.5 minutes on one side, flipped it over, did another 1.5 minutes. Then I gave it a quick temp check just to see where we were at. And then from there, I just started flipping it every minute just so that we get a pretty even cook. And once we hit about 105, I stood them up and tried to crisp up some of the fat, and then moved it over to the side where the heat wasn't going and let them come on up to temp. I pulled them at about 120 to 123-ish is where they were. And we take it off and let it rest. So far I'm liking this wild fork meat. I mean, look at that. Look at all the juice that's coming out of these things. I mean, even the smaller ones. You're just dripping with juice. You get a good quality meat, you can't really go wrong with it. You know, people are always asking how long does it take, and it might be a smart answer, but the answer is as long as it takes. I always go by temperature, that way I don't overcook anything. I cook it exactly the way I like it. Some meats you can have the same cut of meat, but because it's a different piece of meat, sometimes it just cooks different. So I like about medium to medium rare steak. With prime meat, I pull it a little bit earlier because it just seems to continue to cook a little bit more after it's off, and you won't have a deep dark red. But let's see where we are. All right, they're looking pretty good for the way I like them. I went ahead and cut into this little smaller one. Let me actually get a good piece off of it. I'm gonna get rid of just a little bit of fat, and I'm gonna leave some on there. All right, here we go. This is my first taste of Wild Fork Foods Picanha Prime on the Grilla Girls Primate. All right, guys, I'm gonna give it 2 thumbs up. It's actually unbelievably good. Like I said, you get a good quality piece of meat, man. That's all you need to do. And this one wasn't even expensive. You know, 23 bucks for a piece of prime. It weighed almost 3 pounds. Can't go wrong. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. As always, you got any questions or comments, go ahead and put them below. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and always, holler back.